The courtroom held a stillness that felt heavier than usual, as if the air itself anticipated trouble. This wasn't the polite hush that came with the judge's entrance. It was dense, uneasy, sensing the mismatch between the enormity of the moment and the small, trembling figure at the plaintiff's table. 14-year-old Emily Turner sat there, hands clenched in her lap, shoulders hunched as though she could shrink out of existence. Next to her, her mother, Sarah, looked worn beyond belief, eyes flitting nervously between her daughter and the parking officer across the room. Disbelief etched in every glance. Officer Daniel Price sat opposite them, arms crossed, posture wide, face unreadable except for the smirk curling at the corner of his lips. To the uninitiated, he appeared merely professional, but anyone familiar with the case file saw a man who had long forgotten what his badge symbolized. That faint, arrogant smirk alone sent a ripple of discomfort through the room. Then the door behind the bench opened. Judge Judy entered with deliberate steps, each one amplifying the tension. She laid her folder on the bench but didn't open it immediately. Her gaze swept over both parties, lingering on Price with a piercing scrutiny before letting out a clipped exhale that carried an edge of irritation. Not aimed at Emily, not at Sarah, but at him. Her eyes sharpened as she observed his half-smirk. Finally, she turned to Emily. "State your name," she commanded gently, yet every word bore the weight of authority. "Emily Turner," the girl whispered. "How old are you?" 14. The number seemed to hang in the air, an unspoken indictment. Judy's jaw tightened imperceptibly. "All right, let's begin." Before a single fact was spoken, the truth was already clear to anyone paying attention. Nothing about this case was ordinary. A child sat in court over a ticket she didn't understand. A mother was being financially crushed over a minor incident. And a parking officer had entrenched himself in a decision that defied reason. The tension mirrored the mounting pressure in Emily's life, ready to break. Judge Judy, however, remained composed. She asked the first question with startling calm. "Mrs. Turner, why are you here today?" Sarah's voice trembled as she answered. "Your Honor, my daughter received a parking ticket while waiting in the car for me. She broke no law, wasn't driving, and was simply following my instructions. That ticket caused more damage than you can imagine." Judy leaned forward, elbows on the bench, hands clasped. "A ticket issued to a child?" Her eyes locked on Price. "No, Your Honor," Emily whispered. "I was in the passenger seat. The car was off. I wasn't touching anything, and you were alone?" "Yes." "Your mother told you to stay put?" "Yes." "And you obeyed?" "Yes." The room felt the truth. Judy had already read the citation, the notes, and seen the alarm signals buried in the paperwork. Slowly, she opened her folder, not yet reading it aloud, and murmured, "This isn't about a ticket. It's about judgment." Her gaze returned to Price. "And I intend to find out why." The courtroom leaned in. Emily's breath caught. Sarah gripped her daughter's hand tightly. For the first time, the officer's smirk faltered. To understand Judy's reaction, one must trace back to the night of the incident. It wasn't dramatic or chaotic, just an ordinary Tuesday that unraveled through minor, intersecting decisions and rigid authority. Sarah, already running late from a long diner shift, drove Emily to the grocery store. Emily, in the passenger seat, worked on homework under the dashboard light, while Sarah aimed for two simple items, milk and headache medicine. The parking lot was packed. After circling in vain, Sarah asked Emily to remain in the car, locked, while she made a quick trip inside. A routine they had followed safely countless times. The following month, the ticket escalated into an avalanche of fees. Emily watched her mother's stress grow, withdrew from school and friends, and blamed herself for circumstances beyond her control. The night Sarah found Emily crying, murmuring that she had messed everything up, marked a turning point. Sarah sent the case to Judge Judy, including every document, letter, and photograph. When Judy's team took the case, they conducted thorough research, reviewing codes, citations, and histories beyond what Sarah could have managed. Back in the courtroom, Judy's focus sharpened as Sarah recounted the incident. "Officer Price," Judy said, her tone neutral yet lethal. I have questions. Price adjusted his posture, but a flicker of unease crossed his face as Judy pulled out the citation he had issued. You claimed the driver refused to move the vehicle? Yes, Your Honor. You stand by that? Yes, Judy leaned in. The driver was 14, a child. Yet you documented her as though she were an adult, capable of moving the car. I followed protocol, he muttered. Judy's eyes didn't waver. Your protocol appears to include nearly identical language on 32 other citations in the same zone over 3 months. Some issued mere seconds apart. Can you explain how you documented these alleged refusals accurately in under a minute? A murmur spread through the courtroom. Price's face reddened. Efficient? Judy's voice dripped with disbelief. Call it what you will. Reckless, careless, incompetent. In Emily Turner's case, that pattern crossed a line. Emily hunched lower, the weight of that night pressing on her chest, even as Judy spoke on her behalf, turning to Sarah. How long were you inside? 7 minutes, Sarah answered. The car was off the entire time. Emily was alone, following instructions. Judy slammed the folder closed. You ticketed a child, misdocumented her as a driver, ignored the fact she was a minor alone in a locked vehicle. You did not follow protocol, common sense, or decency. Sarah's eyes welled. Emily dared to hope. Officer Price, once arrogant, shrank. Then Judy revealed the depth of the pattern. Internal affairs documents showed multiple unresolved complaints. A disabled mother, a collapsed delivery driver, a pregnant woman cited while dizzy. Judy's words cut through the courtroom. You have a pattern, targeting vulnerable people, women, children, the elderly, disabled. Choosing easy victims. Writing citations first, questions later. Emily Turner was next in that pattern. Sarah spoke quietly of the financial fallout. Judy's eyes hardened. A 14-year-old did none of this. What caused it was reckless enforcement. This citation is void. All fees are void. Officer Price's conduct is unacceptable. I am forwarding this to Internal Affairs with a recommendation for disciplinary action. Price's protests were cut short. Actions have consequences, Judy declared. She turned to Emily. You did nothing wrong. Understand? Tears fell. Emily nodded. It was not your fault. The gavel struck. The audience exhaled, then rose in unison, applauding a child, her mother, and most importantly, justice itself. Emily buried her face in Sarah's shoulder. Judy remained calm, resolute, the embodiment of a judge protecting those who could not protect themselves.